What's up with y'all? This King Rip. You feel me? As we end the Sabbath, I want to remind y'all why I say the things that I say. Why I always say I'm humbling myself. Why y'all be hearing like a lot of those, those in the background behind the scenes tell y'all about this. You feel me? Because they're not authorized to lie to y'all. You get what I'm saying? Like they're not pretending something. They're actually out there helping save lives. They're out there actually, doing what is right and what is just. You feel me? Just like anybody else and just like I'm doing. You feel me? I don't care about the complaints against our life if we're doing something right and they were complaining because they can't do nothing wrong. You feel me? But let me show y'all what it is. So this is the scripture, right? This is John chapter 3. So verse 16, right? And then I'm gonna hop to where it is. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Understand that light. Understand why they speak against it. And I'm finna get to where it is right fast, right? So, verse 18. He who believes in him is not condemned. This is just obvious because y'all still got y'all personality. Y'all still got everything that y'all can taste y'all food. Y'all can sleep. Y'all got a lot of stuff. You feel me? Y'all don't have complaints. But he who does not believe is condemned already, meaning they already knew that they were suffering. They already knew. They already knew. It was just a game to try to trick somebody else, playing pity and sympathy, playing on somebody else's. You get what I'm saying? Like, somebody's out to get me, somebody's this, and then try to flip it. This is why y'all making a lot of videos against that type of stuff. You feel me? So, understand that. So, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God, right? So, verse 19 to 21. And this is the condemnation, that the light has come into the world, and men loved darkness. It don't say nothing about no female. This is scripture word for word. And men loved darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. Now, obviously, if you were pretending something but you had a double life, you feel me? Just consider hypothetically, somebody was cheating. That we watching Jerry Springer. We all sitting down watching Jerry Springer, eating popcorn. This back in the 90s, right? So we're there. We're eating this. We're seeing this, but we're also learning how these individuals are getting caught up, what not to do, while enjoying ourselves. You feel me? And then Jerry hits it off at the end. Remember, take care of yourself and each other. Do you get what I'm saying? To remind people, like, the common sense and reason, right? So imagine those people that was getting caught up and getting exposed for what they were and what they were doing. And they didn't want to get caught up because now the light is on them, the spotlight's on them, they're live on TV, and it's like, damn, how can you, do you get what I'm saying? That don't work that way, right? The same thing with the light. And the same thing is in the Quran. When you're in the face of God, the presence of God, you're going to confess who you are uncontrollably. You're not going to be able to control it because now you're in the presence of an immortal. You're in the presence of something that is eternal, regardless of what it is. And you are sitting back and you're expressing what you are. That's different. You're not expressing anything what somebody else is. All you can say is what? They're the cause of you suffering? Like, no. You're suffering for your choices. Everybody has a consequence for their choices. Do you get what I'm saying? Everybody has rewards for their choices. That's that, right? So this is the condemnation, that the light has come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. Now, if their deeds wasn't evil, it wouldn't have been that way. And that was the obvious. That separated y'all from them. That's how y'all know who got the mark of the beast and who don't, right? By the way they conduct themselves around in the light, and y'all also got the light in y'all. You feel me? So, verse 20 and 21. For everyone practicing evil hates the light and does not come to the light, lest his deeds shall be exposed. That's why I tell y'all, bring them to the light. Bring them to the light. So like when y'all be seeing the officers, how they move and how they do things, they're bringing those individuals to the light. Do you know why? Because they kept lying. And that makes everybody looks bad. And that was their purpose, to cause the confusion and disruption and distrust. Do you get what I'm saying? That way they can try to do this little pick off thing and the spread out of whatever, right? No, thank you. So 21, right? Because now they're exposed, so they don't, that's why they're complaining and nobody else is. But then again, that's their choices, because they lived a certain way that we didn't live. You can't blame anybody for your actions and your consequences, and you're exposed and you don't know how to control yourself or what you do around the light. They know how to do it to a certain extent. You know why? Because they're naturally afraid. And it says it also in scripture. The show on their faces is scarcity. They're frightened. They're terrified. So imagine when somebody's always moving a certain way or trying to position themselves a certain way. It's because they're scared. They're not one of the, they're not about that life. That's why they ran the noise. But that just drew attention to themselves. You feel me? So 21, but he who does the truth comes to the light, like y'all be seeing. You feel me? And his deeds may be clearly seen, that they have been done in God, meaning they're justified. That's why y'all in cruise control. That's why y'all can blase through this like nothing. You feel me? That's what that is. So just, little heads up right there to y'all not finna take the word of, somebody that's already condemned versus somebody that's obviously not. You feel me? Like, but still bring them to the light. You deserve the right to know who's who. You feel me? So here's another one. John chapter 10, right? And we'll start at verse 25. Jesus answered them, I told you, and you do not believe. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me, right? Verse 26, 27, 28, and 29. But you do not believe because you are not of my sheep, as I said to you, right? Meaning you can tell them whatever you tell them, but they're just not going to believe it until you constantly, you have to literally show, look, you did this, you did that. This is, you know what I mean? Other than that, it's because of fear. They don't want to be caught, but they didn't want to change either. You get what I'm saying? So verse 27, my sheep hear my voice. This is why I've been telling y'all they're not connected to me. You feel me? And we're all connected as a country. That's why we got the 5G that reads all the minds. So what's in your mind, what you're seeing through your eyes is red. This is just, we're in the tech era. You feel me? So my sheep hears my voice, and I know them, and they know me. This is facts. So if you wasn't council culture, you're connected to me spiritually. This is what it is. I'm proving this to y'all right now. You get what I'm saying? Like, the court already knows, the feds already know, y'all already know, but just so everybody, they've been trying to deceive and try to pretend, oh, we're on the phone with God. Like, nigga, I don't need a phone. I don't need that. I really don't. They do because that's the only way they communicate it, through some type of data. So when they're saying, oh, the social media and this and this and that, how do I sound on social? I don't sound like that dude on their phone. I don't sound like the dude on the Wi-Fi. You feel me? That's cyber stalking. I don't need to do that. I'm legal. I don't need to do that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it defeats the purpose of even humbling myself. So trip out on this, right? My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. Like I said to the feds, y'all pleasure. Y'all, we've been doing this before this group. They found out, then they started trying to, whatever. We've been doing it during, because we're still doing it now, and then we're going to do it after. And I'm playing for keeps because I'm a planning daddy with y'all. Do you get what I'm saying? Like Planning Parenthood. We plant this out. This is also scripture. That's not a crime. Do you get what I'm saying? Maybe in their eyes, because they wanted to pretend it was, but it wasn't their damn business in the first place. That violated HIPAA law to our privacy. You feel me? That's the difference. Now trip out on this, because we're finna get to that light and what I'm shining on y'all, and why y'all rejuvenating back to your youth, Why y'all healing up and how I told y'all how to do it and how to use it? I'm gonna get to that right now. Okay, verse 28. And I give them eternal life, and they shall never perish, meaning die, neither shall anyone snatch them out of my hand. Verse 29. This is why they played that game of, oh, I'm in a relationship, I'm this. It was showing everybody they're jealous. Jealous of people they don't even know. And hiding behind every single thing that they tried to hide behind to try to sneak some suggestions to befriend somebody so they can pass their deadly diseases that they're dying from to them. That was an attempted murder tactic. And then them saying they're informants that the department sent them. Now you got the hit for hire from a badge that hired them to go out and pass that. This is facts. Nobody can get behind anything and try to hide behind anything because the feds already warned them and they just stupid enough to tell everybody. He ended us. So why wouldn't I know what I'm talking about? This was my description. I'm reading it to y'all. That's why I'm telling y'all, utilize the light. You feel me? This is a Christian country. So now they got the religious hate crimes against them too. Do you get what I'm saying? Now trip out on this. Just like at Mount Sinai, right? Trip out on this. Verse 30. I and my Father are one. Right? When they are running around and they're saying, oh, we're this and that, and they're admitting it, and then turn and run somewhere else and try to complain, they just showing you fear. They're scared. And they wish they could obstruct justice and hide the evidence. They wish they could make terrorist threats to lock somebody up, but all you're doing is you're talking about the justice system, meaning you're talking about the court. And the court is going to find out everything anyway. So what happens when the court already knows? To the point where the news is even saying that we're in their phone, we're in their text messages, we're in their socials. What point it is to sit back and try to lie compulsively, violate somebody's privacy, run to somebody else, and then try to admit their hate crimes by complaining about females and our sexual orientation. Like, what business was it that was so important to these individuals that they couldn't listen to nobody who warned them for their own life, their own freedom, their own, whatever opportunities they had, and sought back even on the Sabbath day and ran to try to fool their family or their friends or their children to try to bring them somewhere and then try to act like they are trying to play Simon Says. Lead along. And they were trying to lead you to hell. Because that obviously exists if they're obviously suffering and you're not. Accept your blessings. Because y'all didn't deny them. Y'all getting paid for this. Y'all getting paid majorly even to report them. Look at all the new laws. Do you get what I'm saying? Look at all the new laws. Do you know what it is to report them hiding in this entity, that entity, that entity? You go down, they hide it. Like, you get what I'm saying? No matter where they are. Those who work there, those who do you know even when you whistle blow, no matter where you are, that's protected by federal law. They can't even run to try to manipulate you. Oh, we're trying to do this to him. Like, no, you're not. You're in my face. How are you trying to do something to another individual and you're in my presence? Common sense and reason, right? So that's what I wanted to read to y'all. And nobody can snatch y'all out of God's hands. Not their disease, not their despair, not none of that. That's not happening. You feel me? So that's what it is. So what I want to do for this, before I close this, right? Matthew chapter 23, verse 35, to let y'all know how much they have on them. That on you may come all the righteous blood shed on the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, whom you murdered between the temple and the altar. They're suffering and dying from stuff that they don't even know about. But they can't brag like, oh, it's the nature of the beast. Oh, we get the mark of the beast. Like, I'm the one that gave that to them. They're finna point me out regardless in court because they already did. The court even did it. Do you get what I'm saying? That's not a crime. What is a crime was their actions, not them trying to, it's like they're trying to condemn the court. Oh, we're done because they did not. You did it to yourself. Now you're in trouble. There's a consequence for that. Just like when you was a child, you got in trouble with your parents, you got spanked. There's a consequences, and they didn't get corrected, obviously. So now they're admitting God is here. So who is going to run somewhere else and try to act like they're trying to trick somebody, like they wanted to befriend you first? This is why I told y'all they wrote that in that county jail. They are professionals at being suckers and ducking and hiding behind something, and then they call themselves the friend murderers. Meaning them even trying to meet you, their whole intentions was trying to get you infected with something deadly. Their whole intentions was some downfall. They don't even know me, this group, right? They just know of me being against their group, right? So imagine when those officers warned them already, the feds warned those officers, like, knock this off. This is illegal, you feel me? And they didn't want to listen, and then now it came all the way down to this. They can never say, oh, we know so-and-so, we used to be over here, or we was over here. Then why don't you got his phone? Why are you talking and doing things that with officers that he never did? He speak good about females regardless of where they work at or where they live at or any type of situation, but you're trying to use your group and your own thing to pretend certain things so you can cause confusion, so we can hear all of this harassment on these speakers and try to pretend like we never heard, oh, you know, this thing happened and this thing happened back east, right? How it used to happen. And then the kids say, oh, well, I heard this, I heard that. I didn't know, like, I was hearing this. This is what the feds was letting me know what this group was doing, these officers. So when I wrap something up, you know, don't complain about trash. You get rid of the trash. You don't harbor yourself in it. You get rid of it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, if somebody is just talking trash, looking like trash, identical colors like trash, and then turning around and bringing in all types of stuff to your workplace, flies, gnats, all types of unsanitary stuff, just like trash. Who, like, you know, look at when we were traveling and they would send their unsanitary ones because they're all that way, but they would send that just so they can stink the whole damn thing up. To the point a lot of people wear their masks now. We don't do that because there's a cough going around. Because it's not. You feel me? We do that because y'all are blocking your nostrils. Do you get what I'm saying? That's a difference. That is a difference. What they do when they trying to act like ninjas, like they still on TV being filmed interrupting our protests. You feel me? What they doing right there is trying to hide their but you can't hide. Now you got voice facial recognition. You feel me? So it's different, and that's what it is. You feel me? Like when they are suffering from all types of stuff, I'm letting you know what atonement is. You feel me? I'm letting you know exactly what it is. In Matthew chapter 24, right? Understand this. All of this chapter is talking about the last times, right? So understand this. Verse 3, Matthew chapter 24. Now, as he sat on the Mount of Olives, and the disciples came to him privately, in secret, saying, tell us, when will these things be, and when will be the sign of your coming and of the end of age? Now, the end of age, I already told y'all, that means nobody's aging anymore. You get what I'm saying? That's it. That's all. That's done with. Everybody that was doing something wrong against y'all, they are now taking on that. They're the ones that's aging. You get what I'm saying? Y'all rejuvenating back to your youth, back to your prime, if that's what your heart's desires is. But you're not aging anymore. You feel me? Like that's over. That's a wrap. You feel me? Verse 4. And Jesus answered and said to them, and this was the very first thing, take heed meaning take notice and be warned that no one deceives you, meaning nobody is lying to you, trying to trick you. This is how you know they got the mark of the beast, like just giving y'all facts. You feel me? So I'm gonna leave that to right there, right? And let's see. It talks about everything that is happening from the, earthquakes, the famines. I'm gonna leave that to what it is, right? And how they try to persecute God's children, and they can't persecute us. This is a Christian country. They would have never persecuted us. They tried to do it in secret. And so, I basically did what I did. You feel me? So that's it. But verse 8 is showing y'all what they're going through again. Like all that, we're this, we're that. Like, no, they're not. All these are the beginning of sorrows. That's why I call them the complaining campaign. You feel me? They're complaining about your life, about our lives that they couldn't take. They already coughed on us. Y'all still here. You feel me? So all of this stuff that they've been trying to do, like verse 10, and then many will be offended, will betray one another, and will hate one another. Understand what time this is. You feel me? Verse 11, then many false prophets will rise up and deceive many. Understand, when somebody is trying to lead you anywhere, when somebody is trying to, do this and do that, this person's gonna say this person's gonna say that, and all this other, like, this way out stuff, everything that I'm skipping through right now, but getting to all the pinpoints that I want to point out to y'all that y'all been making videos against, that I've been speaking against. These are people trying to deceive somebody, trying to mislead somebody. When you don't have a calling to sit back and even give accurate information. Do you get what I'm saying? And then you're trying to lead people into this belief, that belief. You're leading everybody everywhere except where they should be headed, to have their happiness and stability, to keep their life and well-being. That's why it is mentioned the highway that they took is a broad road and it leads straight to hell. So understand what it is when somebody realize and openly tell everybody they're condemned, this happened, and then they got charges on top of it because they were breaking the law. So they can't just run between and back and forth for spiritual and things to do with the government, because it still intertwines with the court. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's still going to court, so it don't matter. You feel me? They just got caught up for a lot of religious hate crimes. It's still discrimination, you feel me? But it is what it is. So don't believe them. I say all of that and I can keep on going. I'm a walking human Bible. I can literally tell you everything. Y'all was never the problem. The problem was them hiding. They can't hide no more. That's why y'all seen through all their lies, and they're going to confess, because y'all already know Isaiah chapter 3 verse 9. So what use it is for somebody to run to somebody else? What are they going to say in the court? Oh, so-and-so ran to me and I had to pretend this and pretend that so we can do this against so-and-so. So did you feel this way, or did you do this way, or did you do that? Were you involved with this? Were you involved with that? Or were they trying to lock you up? And then get down to the nitty-gritty on what their relationships really were. Were they even friends? Do you get what I'm saying? So that's what that is. You feel me? And then with the chapter 25 of Matthew, what it says, then the kingdom of heaven shall be likened to 10 virgins, meaning tenfold, right? Who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. So if we already know this is happening, y'all got the list going, y'all doing that, and y'all gathering y'all sisters, what the hell did that have to do with any male? And later on, it even talks about what? Even the friends of the bridegroom is on that list. That goes into our family members, our friends, people in the community that wanted to come along, that got a spiritual belief. It didn't have nothing to do with a faithless, spineless group. It didn't have nothing to do with that. That's where they get it twisted. You don't never try to interfere with somebody's relationship or try to pretend you got one and they were looking for that in you when they're just pretending on the phone. You feel me? So understand all the hate crimes that they got that done built up and why I kept separating y'all from them and telling y'all to report them. They should never even ran to somebody else. If you feel some type of way of somebody else, then by all means handle your business. You get what I'm saying? But if you feel something for somebody else and you're running to somebody else, you're not doing nothing different than what cancel culture did. Because that's only cancel culture trying to act as though they're interrupting a protest. So think of that. You know what I mean? It's like you're studying in school, or you're working and somebody's trying to interrupt your job or your education. Now you got the hostile work environment, and then you got them openly saying they're criminal intent. So now you got the hate crimes too. Do you get what I'm saying? Like this, like they don't grasp that what it is, but they do grasp that they all lifers. They pretty much washed up, they're done with. So running to somebody else to try to get them charged too, who the hell is going to participate with that? Unless you're just guilty. You feel me? Then by all means, throw yourself away. Throw yourself away. You feel me? Because you're running around or trying to do whatever you're trying to do. That's not doing nothing for nobody. That's doing something against yourself. That's why I tell y'all, report them. Report them, because them even approaching y'all is illegal. They weren't supposed to. No badge was supposed to contact y'all and be all in y'all phone online grooming, trying to ask y'all to do them favors and all this other stuff. Like, nah, that don't work that way. You feel me? So when they ran to y'all and they started telling y'all about all these spiritual stuff, like, right? Even though, like, yeah, okay, we're in a Christian country. Yeah, I give them that. But did I give them permission to try to trick y'all and all this other stuff and all this other, you know, or even, you get what I'm saying? Like, nah, that wasn't ministering. That was trying to be a smear campaign. You were talking bad about our country's religion on top of that. So why sit back and act as though, you know, we're all just kumbaya when they was having a hard time even trying to talk to me? What was so important? And that's why I told y'all, you know what I mean? Like, they called themselves the friend murder. They tried to think that they can do that with everybody, be their friend, learn something from them. And what did they show y'all? You feel me? We want to find out where he's going. You feel me? We want to wait around and see where he's going. We want to do this and do that where he's going so we can go try to act like we're blocking him. Now you just gave me a gang of millions and everybody working there for reporting you because you work for a different entity and you're running to their workplace and you're trying to act like you're committing federal crimes because you want to violate the EEOC for equal opportunity of employment. You feel me? Or housing or whatever else you wanted to apply, pretty much make threats on. You feel me? And then try to lead the conversation to we want them to spend money. Like, so you get what I'm saying? Like, when these are not relationships or friendships, nobody's gonna, you know, what gang have y'all ever heard of, you know, like, especially in Los Angeles, you feel me? Like, that's gonna try to, you know, run around like that. And then only when the sirens play, then you start hearing all types of noise and all types of little chatters. Are like, nigga, we don't got time for cockroaches. If you want to be an officer, go be a real officer. It's a respectful business. We're ending homelessness. Everybody got their jobs to do. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it don't have nothing to do with getting in somebody's life and revealing to them you're a piece of crap. You wanted them to spend money. You wanted them to do this, them to do that, and then get locked up. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, we don't want to, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's stupid, yo. So y'all have a beautiful Sabbath. You feel me? And remember that. And I'm finna hit y'all off with some two short scriptures. Short. And it's Psalms. So Psalms chapter 1 and Psalms chapter 2, right? So Psalms chapter 1. And I do this naturally. A lot of y'all started doing it too, right? Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly. Meaning you're not listening to somebody that's not spiritual. They're wicked, they're evil, they're whatever, right? You're not listening to that. Nor stand in the path of sinners, meaning you don't even live the way they do. You could be in the same place, but you're not living or suffering like they are. You feel me? Letting you know the blessings. Nor sits in the seat of the scornful. Do you know what it is to try to scorn somebody? It's basically you're trying to, like you're ridiculing somebody. You're trying to keep on accusing them. You know what I mean? You only hear stuff like that when you hear stories about the devil trying to accuse the brethren. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and he felt at that too, by the way. You know what I mean? So, verse 2. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. I told you why I'm constantly listening. I'm constantly I'm in tune with myself. I'm in tune with everything. You feel me? But the wrong thing. He shall, verse 3, he shall be like a tree planted. Just letting y'all know my gifts. And remember, I told y'all everybody that was for me always got their heart's desires. They always got everything. And everybody that was against me, they always died. Things always happened to them. This is natural. I'm going to read this for y'all so y'all know why they were trying to use that as we can get them to be against, but they don't really know your heart. You feel me? So let me let y'all know, he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that brings forth its fruit and its season, whose leaf also shall not wither, and whatever he does shall prosper. Something y'all already been seeing. Even when they try to, we're going to run to this workplace, we're going to block him out, we're going to run this way, block him out. You know what I did? I let them do all their little talk about trying to block and block and block. And then I threw it back in their face. You violated all types of federal law. You ain't do nothing but give me money. You're in a federal investigation and they're watching you. So you're just running to your friends and asking them to do you favors. And you showed up looking trashed than ever, which I turned around and made a joke about it in front of everybody. Who's going to throw their livelihood away for something like that, unless you were already living just like that? You just tried to put a persona. You just was living on somebody else. You feel me? You let them hang themselves, they will do that. They call it giving them enough rope and they'll hang themselves. You feel me? Verse 4, 5, and 6. The ungodly are not so, meaning they're not profitable at all, right? But are like the chaff. I said this before, which the wind drives away. This is why I told y'all, if I had told y'all right now and they came around thinking and feeling the way they've been trying to talk and think and feel, they'll disintegrate. Similar to the same thing, identical to how Jean did the professor or X-Men. She disintegrated him, just like chaff, and blew him away in the wind. And after she told him, get out of my head, meaning don't be invasive. Don't do that. You get what I'm saying? You're being too personal. I don't want to be personal with you. And he's trying to invade her head. Like he's trying to drill his words and his thoughts in her head over and over and over. And she warned him and killed him. It was natural for her. She didn't care. She warned him, so he didn't listen. So there you go. You feel me? That's where that came from. You feel me? And it's true. Because the wicked is also known to not stand in the judgment with the godly. So verse 5, therefore the ungodly shall not, like I said, stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. Do you understand what it is? Verse 6, for the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. So what purpose is it for somebody to be ungodly and run to somebody godly, and they're just exposing themselves to God or goddess, but God's children, and they're trying to deceive or act like they're deceiving, but they're only confessing and trying to make it like they're trying to do something to somebody else, but they're showing everybody flat out who they are. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Chapter 2. Why do the nations rage? Meaning different ethnicities rage, right? And the people plot a vain thing. Do y'all see how I be clowning them when they be playing on augmented reality apps, pretending that they're being sexual with another person? without their consent? Oh, we're going to point our phone in this way. Do they notice this? Do they notice? They're being charged for all of that. Do you get what I'm saying? That's a vain thing. Just like them plotting on what they're trying to do to somebody else. Like, no, you're not. You get what I'm saying? You're doing it to yourself. That's not even street. Nobody street would have done that. Do you get what I'm saying? So, verse 2, the kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, and this was just people that hid behind certain workplaces, trying to act like they were rulers over y'all, trying to act like they was some type of leaderance or some type of congregational type of forward type of person, right? Whatever. So it says, let us break their bonds in pieces and cast away their cords from us. Meaning they didn't want nothing to do with us, period. They didn't want nothing to do with our ethics, our morals, our values, nor our spiritual beliefs. So why comment on it? Why yap on it? That's where the hate crimes came in against them. So that was stupid, right? Because anybody that was atheist, they wouldn't even wasted their time. They wouldn't have cared. What it is, they were treason. They hated our country and everything in it. That's just why they constantly complained. You feel me? Kept them up too. They constantly complained. So verse 4. He who sits in the heavens shall laugh. This is why I'm laughing. This is why y'all laughing. This is why I tell y'all, you know, they just running cockroach errands. You feel me? The Lord shall hold them in derision. That's why they're like, that's called confusion. That's called going mad. Literally, we would have put them, if asylums existed, we would have stuck them in asylums already. You feel me? Verse 5. Then he shall speak to them in his wrath and distress them in his deep displeasures. This is when y'all hear that, verse 5 of chapter 2, y'all can get that in pretty much all of my videos. All of it. Because if somebody is going to somebody else saying, oh, you know, we're trying to do this against him to make him feel a certain way, you're looking for emotion in somebody that you don't even know. First of all. Second of all, why did you run to somebody else and you're basically telling them they're way more better of a selection than you are? And you're running to them complaining, and the only thing they can complain about was only females. Like, nigga, run to a man. Play that with them. They ran to what they hated, females and children. That's why they tried to, oh, we're trying to annoy them. We're trying to do this. We're trying to do all of this other stuff, right? Whatever. But they ran to somebody else and then ran to hide. They did the same thing on Capitol Hill. They invaded our protests, which was legal, tried to rowdy everything up. Those who stuck with them, they got moved on, and everybody who didn't get stuck, they all hit. That's how that happened. You feel me? So, verse 6, yet I have set my king on my holy hill of Zion. I told y'all, they're not stopping anything. We're still going on the vacation. The castle is still finna be rebuilt. This is all literally exists right now in Israel. You feel me? So, verse 7 and 8. I will declare the decree. The Lord has said to me, you are my son. Today I have begotten you. Ask of me, and I will give you the nations for your inheritance and the ends of the earth for your possessions. I told y'all seen that. You feel me? All my prayers are answered. So think about this. When somebody wanted to pretend that they're doing something against somebody else, right? Regardless, right? And somebody came and tried to act as though they was trying to do, why didn't they just do it? Why did they run to something else? Why did they run to try to hide behind everything? And I'm telling y'all, it was fear. Do you get what I'm saying? When it could have just been, just mind your own damn business. If you didn't give everybody something to talk about, you wouldn't have been caught up like that. Do you get what I'm saying? And the way I say it is because it could have been avoided, basically, right? Common sense, reason. Verse 9 and 10 and 11. So you shall break them with a rod of iron. Like I've been telling y'all, I'm used to breaking individuals from the mind, the body, the soul. Like I'm used to it. That's why I'm constantly quiet. I don't have to talk. I don't have to run to somebody else. I don't have to do all that. That doesn't happen. You shall dash them to pieces like a potter's vessel. You feel me? So them